This is a high motor guy here. Tuimoloau, how you pronounce it. 5-star recruit, 12 and a half sacks, 47 pressures, scholarship offers to basketball. He was like the main player on his basketball team. He had scholarship offers to Oregon and Washington. So no joke as far as just he played basketball. He played basketball at a high level too, right? From what I read, not an insane amount of creativity, just wears down O-line. He has heavy hands, has a massive two-handed swipe. He's gone against, talk about the differences of certain players, he's gone against the highest level of tackles. He went against Fashanu last year, Alt last year, and all the other high-end tackles coming out this year. So he's played against the best of the best and had good stats. Amazing against the run, really reliable, just a power effort motor. I kept hearing the cliche, just a winning player, just a winner. 91 percentile run grade. He understands offenses, understands run concepts like a coach on the field. And I read this is great. So he makes the end zone his personal property and has a different gear around the goal line. So he just thinks it's his house and you can't get there, which I just love. I love hearing that, man. Burst, bend, and twitch athleticism's limited. It usually goes along with the high motor guys, right? A hard hat, power profile rusher. Bust rate extremely low. You know you're getting at him. He's going to be a high floor player, and he's pretty much ready. They said NFL ready like right now. He's a guy you not be surprised in 5 years if he's just been your 5-year starter. And how did he get there in the draft?
I watched him on film, and everything you said, I think he's a solid guy. Like you said, he's a hard hat. He's going to come in, he's going to work hard, he's going to play hard every single play. Does he generate that same thing, the pass rush that you need? That's the question. And he just,
yes,
he doesn't. He doesn't wow you in that department. But he's a solid guy. He's a solid guy. He has, IQ to be able to see. And I watch it for guys. If I see him on film, does he stand out to me? And there's times you gotta look. I think Sawyer might be the other guy that to me is a tad better than him. But I do like him. I like his length. I like the length in itself, the size that he has. He'll be a solid guy, like you said, kind of rotational piece to help out. So, I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player. And so, my thing is, and I think he can get better. He's a guy I think that can actually get better, playing more in the league. And I think sometimes when you get a guy that, comes into the NFL, he realizes and figures it out like, okay, I got it. He could be a monster. That's what you would hope he'll turn into. I like his background, like you sit there and said, Tej, his basketball background. Sometimes with that, you don't see guys that have that basketball background as physical as you want him to be.
Yeah, true.
And so that could be part of the issue. Is he a basketball player first, playing football? That's the question. Or is he a football playing basketball? So, 6'4", 265. They talk about his bend coming around there. Didn't really have a whole lot of bend.
Yeah.
So.
He would be more like two Georges on both sides.
Yeah.
More so than Scorton. I think Scorton has way more finesse and way more array of pass rushing moves, way more freaky.
Yeah.
I think Tuimoloau is more like having just a George and a George on both sides. Which, hey, man, with a Chris Jones sandwich in between as the patty, that's all right. I mean, two guys that will go to war with you every single time, and then Jones in the middle. And if you get a D tackle who can, hit the gap, then man.
Yeah. Question is he going to press back that tackle? He's going to be able to press him back, get him into that cage rush with Chris Jones and JT Sanders, the jokers could,
Yeah.
make something like that happen. So, feel the pressure from around him.
I love that he's played against all the high-end tackles over the last couple of years too. That's good. It's not you're not wondering if he could do it against NFL talent. He's playing against NFL talent every single week,
Right.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the Big Ten. These conferences getting smaller, and we're not smaller, but like getting bigger. But they have to play each other, so they're gonna have to play against the other NFL talent.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm curious on this though, because like obviously, great stats and all the things you said there, Teja. I'm just curious, how do you kind of when you watch these the tape, JD? Obviously, Ohio State on both sides of the ball was powerhouse this year. They obviously won the whole thing, but I mean, you got Ty Hamilton and Tyreek Williams and DT next to him, and then on the other side you have the what's his name? The Sawyer.
Yeah.
How are you judging like the edge rush guys who have two dudes who are probably going to be drafted within the rounds, maybe 1 to 4 between Tyreek Williams and Ty Hamilton? How do you measure what you're looking at for edge rushers who have amazing talent right next to them all throughout their D line? Because that obviously makes his job a lot easier. Like, I mean, would JT have 12.5 sacks playing on ECU's defensive line? I mean, I'm just curious. How do you kind of look at edge rush play when they play next to talent like Tyreek Williams and Ty Hamilton and Sawyer on the other side?
So I look at it if a guy has one-on-one, okay, and he's consistent on beating guys, and also to their first step explosion. If you have like your hands, are they fast? Or do you have an array of moves for your bag? So when I'm sitting over here, and I'm looking at a guy, I'm looking at the guys I've been through, and I watched, that I played against. I've seen the best. I know what the best looks like, and so I'm looking for that guy to jump out on tape for me. Going against certain guys. So sometimes I look at, like, for me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, could I block this dude? Could this dude get around me on Sundays? So when I worked the combine, I remember we had a conversation with defensive ends, and I was talking to the top combine guy. He said, "Look, I'm gonna tell you something. You see this guy right here, Jason Dunn? I want to know if you can get around him on Sundays." That's the question. So when I look at a guy, I'm wondering, does he look like, Julius Peppers? Does he look like Willie McGinnis? All those. I'm gonna start naming guys, right? Does he look like a Sean Merriman? Who is he? Who is this guy? Is he gonna give me fits? So that's what I check out. I'm looking at his power, how disruptive that he is. Because you can have a high motor guy, but if he ain't going nowhere and you just high motor and just like this, like the hand slapping, right? Right. Hey, man. Hey, you doing all of that it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? Making a lot of noise, ain't doing nothing. So, especially at that defensive end, I that's how I look at it. I'm watching the guy, and he's got to immediately jump out on tape for me. Immediately. If I don't see you, and it takes you a while to get into to see you on tape, and you kind of fall into a sack here and there, okay, all right, what's it going to look like on Sunday? So the 12.5 sacks are impressive. They are. But that is part of his, because he is a high motor guy. He
has a lot of what they call cleanup sacks.
Absolutely. And so on the other side, Sawyer and those guys they're going to try to escape from him.
Sawyer too.
He gets it. Yeah.
And there's a lot of cleanup sacks too.
Right. So that's
and that's why, having the guys in the middle, like the Ty Hamiltons and Tyreek Williams, that's why it also helps out having those guys plugging and doing what they do in the middle of the pack there, and then Sawyer and JT get the cleanup sacks. So
a lot of people actually have him higher than Sawyer, and this is the reason why. Arm length 2 inches longer than Sawyer, wingspan 5 inches longer than Sawyer. So it's a big difference, and that's not even because JT's wing and arm is extremely long. Sawyer is just
so short.
He measured real short, man. He measured real short. 77 wingspan.
Yeah.
That was one of the shortest that they measured.
But if that wingspan ain't getting you, It don't even matter. If you ain't got no power with that wingspan, it don't even, shoot. You out there looking like Lurch.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Little short arm guys, they could push you back. And Sawyer gives you that because he brings a lot of power and relentless, to the pass rush. He does a great job, man. I like him too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
same thing with Sawyer too. I think Sawyer would be like having two Georges. Very similar.
Yeah. High motor guys.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs fan 211. I'm guessing Tyreek is the reason they can have two high motor guys on the edge.
Yeah.
That definitely helps.
Absolutely.
Well, we do have Jones, so it's pretty simple. You come here and have a guy in the middle that can dominate too. So,
Hey, why don't you get JT and Tyreek? Sign me up. Sign me up for both those guys.
I mean, dude, you do that. That's a friggin' fierce D line you got there, man. George, Jones, Tyreek, and JT. I mean, you got 4 dudes to play the run and the pass. You got 4 dudes on stop. You got, man, that's crazy. I love that. I mean, man.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.